The first man on this planet to translate his amazement at the wonder of life into a way to explain it was Charles Darwin. So this is a celebration of Darwin's greatness in the form of a rap. Some would say a debasement. I would say be patient. Okay, so how do you go from amoebas to rappers? You open The Origin of Species and you read his chapters. You're gonna learn all about the impact of people's actions on farm animals, ducks, cows, dogs, domestic crops. They had wild ancestors, but somehow they went soft. Kind of like underground rappers going pop. Like for instance, in West Africa around 7000 BC, humans domesticated black-eyed peas. But don't call it a sellout, please. Those black-eyed peas have a lot of mouths to feed. Their wild cousins just watch from the weeds. See, there's nothing artificial about domestication. Ant colonies keep domestic aphids. It's an arrangement where one hand washes the other. We protect the cow and the cow offers the udder. And that's how we get a mouthful of butter. But in the wild, that cow is not gonna cut it. But think about it for a sec. If our little selections and little preferences can change and enhance all the critical differences between wild and domestic breeds over the centuries, well, maybe that can explain everything. I mean, in nature, instead of us making selections, it's just survival and reproduction in the midst of competition, where slight differences that arise randomly get selected by the pressures applied environmentally, and eventually species divide like a family tree into everything alive, from a tiny fly to a huge manatee to all of y'all. Humanity. So how does this apply to the craft of the MC? Well, they say evolution is an algorithm. It only has 3 parts: variation, selection, and heritability. So let's see if we can find all 3 in that ecosystem called rap music. All right, so variation can be found in the styles on display. I mean, rappers all have different techniques when they're on stage, and the results can be seen in the audience's face. Like, for instance, at this moment, you guys all look amazed, like guppies removed abruptly from your aquatic space. Your minds are probably racing over questions of style and race and genre and time and place, and some of your eyes are glazed, like, for God's sake, how long will this take? But if you all feel that way, then soon I'll be replaced by someone more entertaining, like maybe Lil Wayne. See, that's selection. Then again, if enough people like you choose to plant my seed, you might turn me into a black-eyed pea. See? You guys are active in the process of evolution all around you. You're like ancient breeders. You're rearranging the features of a species of sheep. You're increasing the sweetness of the peaches every season whenever you choose to seed it or to feed it or to breed it or to weed it out and delete it because you just don't see it as needed. I mean, the preferences in question could be for bigger chicken breasts or whippets with a thinner midsection, or it could just be an inner predilection to pick the best in any mixed collection. That's artificial selection. You're a farmer. That's how it is. You can't opt out of it. You have no choice but to make choices. You're helpless. It's because your time itself is limited. You're not selfish. It's just the rap version of the doctrine of Malthus. It goes, too many MCs, not enough mics. See, that's the proportion of hungry mouths. That's what you call the too many MCs compared to the food resources in the form of captive audiences, right? That's the not enough mics. But survival on stage, that's a non-random process, because those who get massive responses, well, they tend to influence those who aspire to get massive responses. So if you say I sound, for instance, like an Eminem ripoff, how will I respond? I'll probably get pissed off and start flipping you off and grabbing my crotch and acting obnoxious and screaming, "Nah, dog, that's preposterous." So what you're watching is probably a form of imitation modified by experience, which is pretty similar to the genetic basis of inheritance. That's heritability, except it's part Darwinism and part Lamarckism, with genes and culture co-evolving as we rock to the rhythm. But whether you think cultures really evolve, or if it's just a silly metaphor that's pretty but false, or whether you've never even thought about that, I still think Darwin can teach us all about rap. Because in essence, it's all about that competition for status with intricate language delivered in battles, and it's all about getting that fitness advantage and the different adaptive behavior patterns that have us acting crazier than pheasants mating dances. But hey, that's what they call natural selection. So people, just sit back and listen, and you'll witness the evolution of the rap profession. sit back and listen. Actually, that's the beginning of the show, so in this case, you have just witnessed the evolution of the rap profession. Thank you.